And welcome back. It's still Good Morning Kenya. The Viewpoint is a show on air. 1 year later, we are taking stock of what has been happening in the country in the last 1 year. And of course, as we talk about the issue of devolution, we are talking about the issue of governance, the Kenya Kwanza administration, what has been happening, and what we really expect to be happening moving forward. And in the studio, I'm joined by Governor, Bungoma County, Ken Lusaka. Karibu sana mheshimiwa.
Asante sana.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
The last time we met was somewhere on a chilly morning in Bungoma.
Right.
How is Mashinani?
Mashinani is good. So far so good. When we left, I think we have stabilized and we are just serving our people.
Yeah.
After fulfilling the promises that we gave them when we were campaigning. Right.
When you look at the front page of that newspaper,
Yes.
it tells all.
Yes.
What's the front page?
1 year later.
1 year later.
Right.
Take it away. Where are we as a nation?
As a nation, you know, just like I'm sure you have used an aircraft.
Yeah.
When you take off, you experience a bit of turbulence. Then after some time, you settle. So I think it has been a bit turbulent trying to put systems in place, trying to fix certain things. Because as a country, we took over an economy that was going down. So I think the president is trying to fix it. And even in the counties, those of us, again, who took over, we took over counties that some structures had been completely destroyed. But I think we are on the right track. So far, so good. I think the country is being fixed.
Yeah.
You realize, if you look at something like agriculture, where fertilizer was 7,000, as we speak now, it has come down to 2,500
per bag, yes.
Which was launched. In fact, it was also launched in my county. So we expect that life is going to go down. The cost of living, that's what everybody has been complaining about. But once all these things are now fixed, it will go down. It has been a bit painful, or it has to be a bit painful, but eventually I'm sure it's going to be fixed.
Allow me to ask this question. The issue of transition from the last administration and now the president, excuse me, or even different counties had enough time to do the transition from the previous regimes, either from the governors who left, including you. Now you're back in office and you're having some transition, some cleanup. How has it affected the growth generally for the country? I mean,
yeah, you see, let me start with the county, for example. One of the issues that I've had to grapple with has been the issue of scholarship and bursaries. That's in the education sector.
Yeah.
Where my predecessor, as we went towards the election, he decided to increase the numbers from 2,000 to 12,000, you know, for those to benefit from the scholarship.
Yeah.
That was meant to wing the voter that, you know, I'm going to take care of your education without a budget. So I've had, when I got in, I got a task force to look at all that, rationalize and be realistic that this is the money that we have. This is only what we can afford. And of course, there was a bit of noise, and but now it has stabilized because we have brought the numbers down to what's manageable. And I think even as a country, that's exactly where we were also, because. And I think I was in Senate the other day and I said we must relook at the law where certain things should not be done a year to elections, because people tend to come up with populist programs, hoping that, you know, you are going to wing the voter to give you votes, only to end up messing the country. So a lot of the things that were done, say in the last year, you realize were populist.
Some of them have been shelved.
Some of them have been shelved, and what the president is saying that he's going to subsidize production, not consumption. And that's where you find that people are feeling a bit of pain, but eventually, give it another year or two, they're going to realize that what the president is talking about is exactly what he meant to fix, to fix the problem that was there. Because we were subsidizing consumption and not production. And that's why you can see now the cost of fertilizer is coming down. He's also talking about affordable housing, which is being rolled out in most counties, including Bungoma, where we have already found land. So those kind of programs, they may look not popular now, but at the end of the day, give it 2 or 3 years, people will now start clapping and saying, I think the president had a vision, or this governor also had a vision. So to start definitely you get into a lot of those problems because people don't understand.
Yeah. Allow me to ask you this, Governor, because when you look at the general outlook, where are we as a country? How is Kenya?
Kenya is being fixed. Of course, there have been a lot of these difficulties. The president has said, of course, the issue has been the finance bill, where, you know, people are being taxed. And he has even said, the president himself, that the late President Mwai Kibaki was very particular on people paying taxes. So we have had people in this country who have not been paying taxes. Those who are supposed to pay taxes have not been paying. So they are just tightening the noose around those who are supposed to pay taxes so that they pay taxes, because the ordinary person at home there is the one who feels the pinch because he's going to buy sugar, he has to buy salt, and he has to pay taxes through the purchases that he makes. So because we cannot fix some of these things that we are talking about without people paying taxes. And the president had made it clear that, you know, he doesn't want to go the borrowing way, because you see, when you borrow, a country cannot be sustained on borrowing. So we must have an arrangement ourselves through taxes, and that can only be through taxes, so that then you fix the economy. But you see, the way it was going, we went to China, we were going everywhere, borrowing money and coming in and pretending like we are doing well, but we are not doing well. So this, we need somebody courageous to bite the bullet, to say, okay, now, this is the route I don't want to go, and this is the route I want to go to take the country. So we just want to ask our people, both in the counties and the country, to be a bit patient and to give the president time to fix what was not working.
Allow me to ask you about our foreign policy. Where are we as a nation?
Our foreign policy is okay. You are, I mean, you've seen the president travel out there, trying to make good networks with other countries. Even myself, as a governor, I have also traveled. There are those who may criticize and say, no, you don't have to travel, but I think it's important to have those networks. They are not just free trips that somebody is making, but is getting out there to get goodies for the country, not to get networks that are going to support us in a way. So in foreign policy, I think so far, so good.
As you sit in the Council of Governors and as you deliberate on development agenda for this country, what are some of the pointers that you put on the table? Probably in ascending order.
We in COG, first of all, want to focus on what is devolved. Our biggest problem, challenge, and I want to laud the current government, because for the first time in the history of devolution, they have been up to date in terms of remittances to the counties. As we speak now, money for July has already been disbursed to the counties. That has never happened. We've always been in arrears of 3 months, 4 months, and that has really affected service delivery, because we end up not meeting our obligations, paying paying what are called the contractors, the suppliers. You know, we have ended up, some counties have ended up getting into arrangements with banks to even pay salaries, because, you know, without money you can't pay salaries. So the biggest challenge that we are still grappling with as COG is getting devolved functions that are still being performed by the national government.
Which are?
For example, health is a devolved function, and therefore what remained in the national government is policy and standards, and, you know, a national thing like, say, vaccination. But you realize that some functions, money is still being held by the Ministry of Health, money is still being held by the Ministry of Agriculture, yet agriculture, for example, is also fully devolved. So one of the issues that we have been having a conversation even with the president, and I'm the chairman of the Agriculture Committee, for example, fertilizer. The question we've been asking, should the national government still be purchasing fertilizer, supplying to the counties, or there should be a mechanism where the money that is being used to purchase fertilizers is sent to the counties, because counties, I mean, it's a devolved function. That's a conversation that we're having with the national government, with the Ministry of Agriculture, so that we streamline it, so that now the counties don't just end up being, you know, just doing what we are calling the last mile. Supplying, distributing fertilizer, the last mile supplies to the, to the farmers. So those are some of the things that we really need to streamline, So there are those functions that we feel should, they say money follows functions.
Functions, right.
So once the functions have been devolved, then the money should also be devolved. So that's a conversation that we are having with the
Why were some of these functions still remaining with some of their tentacles with the national government, and yet they are devolved?
My own personal view would be just interests. There are a lot of interests in a lot of these things.
Right.
Sometimes you follow it up and you find that you start stepping on people's
But you're
toes.
hopeful that at the end of the day things will happen.
Yeah, that things will happen.
1 year down the line, you were the governor before.
Yeah.
You came to Senate, and then you're back again. You must be one lucky gentleman.
Yes.
To be given a mandate by the people of Bungoma.
Yes.
How is it 1 year? At a time like this, Kenyans went to the ballot. There were some huge lines. It's quite, something to remember about. How is it for you?
For me, I think I'm moving. There are certain things that I've already done. There are things that I promised the people of Bungoma for them to vote for me. For example, in agriculture, I told them I was going to give, because during my first time, I initiated the input support to the farmers. By the time I left, I was giving free fertilizer in every ward of 750 bags.
Yes.
When my predecessor came on, he reduced it to about 200. When I took over, when I was campaigning, I told him I was going to take it up to about 1,000. When I got there, the budget could not allow, because they had put a lot of money in many other things. But luckily, this year, we gave fertilizer 500 farmers per ward. So we covered about 21,000 farmers through free fertilizer, subsidized fertilizer, and the harvest is very good. We're expecting a bumper harvest, by the way, because we also gave the right fertilizer. Even the national government, the fertilizer that they gave was also the right fertilizer after, the soils had been checked, because most of our soils are acidic.
Yeah.
So if you go around, you find that the crop is doing very well. I had also promised that I was going to motivate the workers, because human resource is also important. You need people to perform what you want to achieve. The development can only be implemented by people.
Yeah.
So like in the health sector, I've already confirmed more than 179 health workers who are on temporary basis. I put them on P&P. Even in the TVETs, I've confirmed most of the instructors who are also just on casual basis or on contract basis, just to motivate them. I'm rolling out the issue of we are now fixing the lights, street lights, the flood lights. My predecessor, let all those things die. So I'm promoting what we call a 24-hour economy. You go to most of our markets now, they are lit. You can find that around 10, 11 people are still working. People are still selling their wares, the mama bogas and the border borders. I'm also rolling out the trade loans. During my first time, I had what we call the trade loans. The regulations are now in the assembly. When they resume, I think next week, they should be able to approve the trade loans, so that the regulations, so that we then give out the trade loans to the mama bogas and all this what we are chini, because we were talking about the bottom-up approach, the bottom-up economy. So from where I sit, things are now moving on. And 2 years, 3 years from today, people will see a lot of changes in most of the sectors that are involved, like I've said, agriculture, health, education, trade, and industrialization. Right.
I'm quite interested in understanding how you are handling your county. Perhaps something that is not happening, maybe the county of Mandera, something happening, because I know they're different because of different locations and topography. But what's something quite unique, Bungoma, under your leadership and administration?
My leadership, one, is accessibility. I'm very accessible to the people. I go out there, listen to what people want. I watch TV, like this KBC, I watch.
Very good.
I listen to the local radio stations, so that I get feedback from the people, because they will talk about, oh, Governor, this road is not motorable. Governor, these lights are not working. So from that feedback, I am able then to fix the things that people are talking about. So public participation, going out there and listening to what people are saying, that's my approach. That has been my approach to my administration, and I also operate through an open door policy. As we speak now, I have 2 centers of operation. I operate from home, just like the way you have State House and Harambee House. There are days when I am at home to listen to the people in the local problems.
Wananchi. Wakuje
tusikizane.
Yes.
Then I'm also in the office to also listen to the things that they are doing. And I go out there to also inspect projects. And I have also worked very closely with my county assembly. I must laud them because we have, although they are doing oversight, but we are also working very closely because we know they are also appraised on what we are doing. And they have, for example, approved my CCs. They have approved my supplement. They approved my supplementary budget, and have also approved my main budget. So that has given me an environment that I am able to implement. They identify projects, for example. I've also given them money at the ward level. So there's this oversight, but they identify the projects with the Mwananchi, because we also, again, the essence of devolution was to enable Mwananchi to participate in their own development, so that you don't sit in Nairobi or Bungoma town and decide that Namwela wants this. You let them identify what they want. Once they have identified, it's put in the budget. We go to implement, then the MCS oversight that.
That's an interesting point, Governor, because when I think a month or so ago, the MCS also complained that they wanted monopoly and autonomy in the ward development funds. Some of these proposals will now go through the legislative processes for it to be entrenched in the Constitution or for that. But how do you handle it, giving your MCAs money for ward development? How do you handle it?
The way I've handled it is, one, you ring fence the money.
Yes.
So that, for example, an MCA knows that his ward will get 24 million in a financial year. So what they cannot do is to implement projects, because their role is legislation, oversight, and representation. So they cannot be the ones implementing the projects, because they are the ones who will be oversighting what the executive is doing.
Yes.
So all we do is to ring fence that money. They know that, for example, 24 million is for their ward. Then they will sit down with their committees to identify projects. For example, somebody will say, me, I want water, I want ECD classrooms, I want a health facility, I want this. So that within the budget is done within that 24, or the money ring fenced for that particular ward.
And then it's now distributed as per the ward.
As per the ward.
Okay.
But the execution of the projects, execution of the work
remains
is done
with the executive.
So that their work is to oversight.
That should be making your work so easier.
Yes, it is. It makes it very easy, because then once something is happening in the ward, that ward is within Bungoma County, and therefore development is taking place everywhere. Like we had I have done over 304 kilometers of road in the entire county. So at least as I speak, in every ward, there's 1 or 2 roads that have been done or are ongoing. So when that happens overall, you find that there's development taking place in the entire county. So it makes it very easy. It's all, the projects are owned by the people, because they identify the projects, and mine is to execute, to implement or execute those programs through my CEC members and chief officers and my administrative officers, who then oversee the implementation.
That must be one of the secrets, because if you see some of the counties are still grappling, even to come to terms with their MCAs, you're having it. I'm made to understand that you don't owe anyone a single shilling in your county. I should be a voter in Bungoma County and a supplier in Bungoma County. You cleared all the pending bills.
Yes,
ideally.
Yes. You see, when I came 1 year down the lane, when I took over, of course, we had pending bills, and people had worked. There were programs that were ongoing. As we speak, I have paid all the contractors, 99%. If there is one that we have not paid, maybe it's a project that has not been completed. But those who have completed...
Governor, I think this one, you should just take a break and just talk to the camera straight. You have cleared all the pending bills in Bungoma County.
Yes, I've cleared the pending bills in Bungoma. Those for the year that I've been there, all the contractors who worked and work was certified to have been done as per the bill of quantities or as per the requirements, we have paid.
You must be a happy man.
Yes.
You must be a happy man. Are you taking any other projects moving forward, or your work is to supervise the projects that were completed moving forward, or improving the current projects?
Those that have been done, of course, like things like roads, it is what we call periodical maintenance. We will have to, when it rains, sometimes the roads are spoiled, so we'll have to retender and maintain them. We'll come up with new projects. We normally sit and agree that now we are going to do, say, this particular road. We are going to complete, for example, the high altitude training center. By the way, I have the only high altitude training center, public training center in the Republic is in Bungoma, in Chemoge, in Mount Elgon. So that's a project that I want to complete. I have a chicken slaughterhouse which I started and initiated when I was a permanent secretary in the Ministry of Livestock Development, then also pushed it when I was the first governor. Now it is operational, but we can do better. We want to get more land because it has capacity to slaughter 3,000 chicken. In fact, I want to export chicken to Uganda and neighboring countries. And I had that in mind because, chicken rearing in Western or Bungoma, for that matter, is not something that you're going to teach people. People just do it naturally, And then I'm encouraging them.
That's a norm.
The women, I'm encouraging the women groups, the youth groups, and everybody to rear chicken because the market is there and it's beginning to peak. So we want to identify new projects that we are going to implement in all the sectors that are developed. I've said I'm going to employ, for example, more ECD teachers because since I employed ECD teachers and put them on P&P in my first term, my predecessor never employed any. There are those that have retired, there are those that have died, natural attrition. So we are going to employ more. I want to build more ECD classrooms. I want to equip them. I want to also equip the VTCs. I want to focus on, for example, agriculture, food security. I have said that with a bamba harvest that we are having this year, unfortunately the budget is already gone. In the subsequent budgets, I'll be convincing the members of the county assembly that we set aside money to purchase maize when we have a bamba harvest, because now the farmers are being exploited. Because 3 or 2 months ago, they were buying a gorogoro of maize at about 240. Now they are selling at 80 shillings because of, some are,
serious drop and an improvement.
It's a serious drop. So they are being exploited. We have very many lorries coming there, people purchasing green maize. So we want to cushion the farmer. We want to be able to buy at a reasonable price from the farmers, keep it because we have the stores, we have the national cereals boards in my county, so that then when there's a problem, we can be able then to even sell it back to the farmer at a reasonable price. Those are the plans that we have. So we will be coming up with a lot of the projects, a lot of initiatives that are going to ensure that the mwananchi gets money in the pocket, pesa mfukoni, like we were promising.
Governor, let's take a break and we come back. I still have some questions for you. I want us to still delve more into the issue of pending bills. How you managed to do it? What was this outstanding bill that you managed to clear? And what can people copy from Bungoma County to benchmark? And I'm also made to understand that you fired ghost workers. Who are ghost workers? You'll tell me more of that. And then 10 years of devolution, Governor. You have a devolution conference coming up next week. What are some of the hits and misses as far as this is concerned as a nation? More with Governor Ken Lusaka shortly after this break. Stay with us. Good morning, Kenya. The Viewpoint with me in studio is Governor Ken Lusaka, Governor of Bungoma County. We are just taking stock of what has happened in the last 1 year since we went to the election. That is exact day and date last year. But most importantly, 10 years of devolution. We have a devolution conference coming up next week, Governor, and we'll be getting into that very shortly. But let's come back to the issue of the pending bills. It's a thorn in the flesh for so many people, including the national government. Allow me to ask you, what was the total amount that you cleared with other counties?
First of all, when I came in, I formed a task force to try and establish the pending bills, because it was running to about over 1 billion, to look at the eligible pending bills. Because normally what would happen is you find that as we get towards the election, people tend to fake bills to want to make quick money to use it even for campaign.
Yeah.
So we established what we saw, what were eligible and uneligible, where we could verify. People went out to check where they're saying maybe a road was done and you realize that maybe it was not done. So we sorted out that, and what I did, first of all, the money that we've been receiving, the shareable revenue, we have been, irrespective of whether, this contractor supported me or not, we are first of all sorting out the genuine pending bills. So if you worked and we were supposed to pay you, we have...
With all the supportive documents.
The supportive documents, we verify and pay you, because you see, we didn't want anybody to suffer as a result of that. So what I have sorted out, like I mentioned, are the works that have been done during my period, and we have also sorted out those that were being done, like we had ongoing projects by the World Bank. We have a hospital, 3 hospitals, one in Bungoma, another one in Naitiri, another one in Bumula. So those have been sorted out because the money was available. So what I've done is to prioritize, because that's what the government has also been emphasizing, and Treasury, to prioritize pending bills. So once we establish that the bill is genuine, from the task force that we formed, we sort you out, we pay you. That's how I have done it. And those who have worked for the last the ending financial year, all those who worked, we sorted out. So there's nobody with a pending bill so far.
Because at the end of the day, I'm trying to imagine when you get the revenue from the national government and then from the local collection, from the county, was it complementing each other, or it was from own source revenue or from the national government?
It was complementing each other, from the national government and own source revenue. By the way, we were rated as by CRA as the county that has done very well in terms of own source revenue. We've really improved.
Yes.
So we were rewarded. So it was complementing each other. It's a very delicate balance, because you see, as you clear the pending bills, you also, most of these pending bills were done by my predecessor.
Yes.
As you clear that, you must also now factor in money to start other projects, develop new projects. So it's normally a very difficult thing to do, because most people would rather even forget about the pending bills and focus on their own new projects, because politics is, politics is very selfish. People will want to be selfish about...
How has this really made your administration moving forward? Because I would imagine if you don't have that luggage of pending bills, what is now remaining is your development.
Yes.
How are you going to... This must be so easy for you, so that you can plan with whatever you get from the national government, own source revenue. It must be so easy for you to plan for your country.
Yes, it's easy to plan, because then we'll be able now to focus on what I promise the people, what is in the CIDP.
Yes.
What is it that I want to achieve, for example, in 1 year or 2 years? So, and I will be launching my CIDP on Monday, that is 14th. That's now going to be the development blueprint, what we are going to do, because now this is my first financial year since coming back as a governor. So it's going to be, we want to be more focused on the things that I promised the people of Bungoma, and it's going to be easy, because once we don't have the baggage of the pending bills, like you have rightly said, it becomes easier to then focus and move on in all the sectors. So I'm expecting a smooth flight. Just like I said, when you take off,
with no turbulence.
It's a bit turbulent, but once you stabilize and you get at cruise level, you should be able to fly and even walk around in the air.
Could it be these are the reason why I'm told you did some cleanup in your county, ghost workers, which is a very big menace, even in the national government?
Yes, and even on Monday we have workers who went to court claiming that they were casuals and they are supposed to be employed. So the court made a ruling that we employ them on permanent and pensionable. So I've said I'm going to be very transparent. All those who claim to be workers, casual workers, or who are employed, as directed by the court, we will go to the field. You come with your documents and everything that is required of you. If you qualify, we'll employ you. If you don't, there will even be police and a lorry there. You know, if you come with fake things, you will not go back home. You will go to the lorry and go to prison because of faking. Because we want to clean up. We want to clean up the system. Because we know we have people who are claiming they think they are about 463, but I can assure you,
yes,
those who will turn up may not be more than 100.
What was the total number?
The total number was 463.
That's a huge one too, even to the taxpayer.
Yes, and you see, in fact, I want to thank the court because you see, there were another list of 660 who claimed they had been recruited by my predecessor, and you know, towards like I'm saying, a law must be found where 1 year to elections, both at the national and county level, certain things should not happen. The governors or the president should not be allowed to do certain things 1 year to elections, because that is where a lot of things are committed. A lot of ill things, like, you know, somebody goes to recruit over 600 casuals just because, you know, in anticipation to win an election.
Yeah.
Or somebody raises, like I said, raises numbers of people to benefit from a bursary or a scholarship from 2,000 to 12,000. You know, woodwinking the voter. So I think there should be some law where they're saying 1 year to an election or 1 year after an election, you should not be able to do certain things, so that people don't do certain things just to woodwink the voters to vote for them.
But see, Governor, some of these things are legislative, and politics also plays a key role. You've been in that space for quite a long time. This has to go back either to the Senate or the National Assembly. That's
what I'm saying. Let it go back. Let it be legislated, because a lot of bad things happen 1 year to elections, where you find money is being committed, or, you know, you are launching, you know, just to woodwink the voters, and then eventually you know that these things are not going even to work, or maybe there's no budget, or when somebody else takes over, it becomes a problem. Just like now what our president is also going through. A lot of populist things that were mentioned as we went to elections. Then you get there and you realize that, you know, some of these things have no budget. For example, roads. The budget, the pending budget for roads at the national level is unimaginable. They can't fix. So right now they are just busy. The money that is being found is busy fixing roads that were commissioned, contractors that were brought on board. Now they have to be paid before you start even a new project. So that's why I'm saying that a legislation must be found where certain things must not be done a year to elections or after an election.
It must be anchored in law. Your county is one of the biggest counties, Governor, and, you know, at the end of the day, you have a blueprint. You have to deliver to the people of Bungoma. Time is running out. I'm trying to look at a situation where, in the budget of 2023-2024 budget, how are you going to collect this money, on-source revenue, together with the national government, from money from the national government, to complete your flagship projects?
We are getting a budget of about 11 billion. Actually, Bungoma is one of the biggest counties, like you have said. What I'm doing, we want to improve on-source revenue collection. So we are tightening. You know, we automated, when I was there the first time, I made sure that we have an automated system to collect revenue, because when you automate most of the things, it becomes easier. You see loopholes because there was a lot of pilferage. Money, you know, people just...
And then you also one point of collection.
Yeah, one point of collection. Things like, you know, bus parks. We want, like, the health is one of the greatest contributor to appropriation in aid, you know, so we want to have a health management system that's going to be automated, so that where we are, any money paid will be accounted for, and we can monitor how much money has come in. You can be able to monitor on the press of a button. You can see real-time flow of money, cash coming to the counties, because this business of manual is where we lose a lot of money. So I want to tighten the nuts, so that we don't have a lot of pilferage, money going into people's pockets. But then on-source revenue plus now what is coming, we are able to push the budget to even about 14 billion. Once we have that kind of money, we can be able then to upscale the things that we want to.
Maybe if I ask, what's your approximate collection quarterly from the on-source?
We know, when I left last time, we had gotten to about 700 million on-source collection, but it dropped to about 300 or so. So we want to push it back to about 700 million or even 1 billion if we can. Because if we seal all these loopholes annually, okay. If we seal all these loopholes, that's achievable. Because we went up to, we almost got there. But again, like I said, it dropped. I don't know for whatever reasons, but we are now carrying out a survey to know exactly the loopholes that we need to seal for us to upscale what we can collect.
All right. Governor, 10 years down the line, I mean, you're one among people who completely were in the front line to bring the new constitution, and you're actively in it. Next week, you will be in Uasin Gishu to mark 10 years of devolution. Let's get into it briefly. Are the devolved units working as per the expectation or as were envisaged in the constitution?
I think it's working despite the challenges that are there, just like any new system would face. But devolution has worked. If there's anything, if you want to know that it's working, tomorrow let anybody wake up and say we go back to the centralized system. Kenyans will be on the streets to protest about that, because now Kenyans, one thing that the new constitution brought is what we call public participation. They are able to participate in their own, to prioritize their development. Resources have also been devolved to the units. People can sit down. People now understand, even the ordinary Mwananchi understands what a budget is, because of what the public participation. They will normally call them, you go present the budget, the proposed budget to them, tell them this is what we want to do in this area, in this constituency. Then they tell you, no, us we don't want, we want water, we want this. So it is working. We have all those challenges that, bedevil any system, even, developed democracies like the US are still also have experiencing challenges. Brazil, they're still experiencing the challenges. But if you asked me, 10 years down the line, devolution is working. There are areas in this country that had never seen tarmac. There are areas in this country that had never seen a Syrian operation like Wajir. The first Syrian operation experience has come through devolution, when now the county started developing, having equipment that were doing all those things. Most counties have dialysis machines. Most counties have roads, tarmac roads. They have, agriculture, like I'm saying, food security. So overall, we are going to look at where we were, for example, before devolution, the journey that we have walked, what are the challenges, and where we want to go, maybe 20 years from today, the devolution. And there's a lot of improvement, because I happen to have been one of the first governors, the pioneer governors. And we had a lot of challenges. There was totally nothing, putting in place structures, having a cabinet, doing all these things. Now we had the second governors. I have come in as a third time, and I can tell you there's a lot of improvement. So by the time we get to the 5th, 6th, or 10th governors, there will be a complete difference. And because now most of the teething problems have been sorted out. If you even read, you don't see a lot of those, a lot of the challenges. For example, the first time they were talking about a lot of corruption, and some of these things were committed either by omission or commission, because everybody was new. Nobody had ever tested devolution. So people were it was try and error. But we have fixed it. Come the 4th and the 5th governors, they should not have any challenges that the first governors went through.
As COG, what are some of the weaknesses, some of the missing dots in the constitution that should be fixed?
COG, like we are saying, we are still grappling with the national government, and that happens in most of the countries. It's not very easy for the central government or the national government to cede ground. So we'll still be fighting, because you see, the president may mean well, with the way I know him and the way he's supporting us, But we still have some elements in the national government who still, and like I talked about, interests, who still believe that certain things must still be handled at the national level. So this, as COG, those are the things that we are grappling with. Sometimes you rub shoulders, like you say now, we should be the ones purchasing, for example, fertilizer. We should be the one purchasing certain things in health. Then, of course, there are those at the national government who have a lot of interest, who think it should be done at that level. So those are some of the things that are still being held by that we are grappling with the national government. It's a conversation that we want to have even as we go to Eldoret, because the president will come, the deputy president will come, most national government functionaries will be there. We will be pointing out some of the areas that we think we can still improve on. We can say, for example, this is our function, please let the funds come down so that we are able to do it for you. At the end of the day, there are no citizens that belong to the county government and citizens that belong to the national government. We all belong to this country. So you're not going to say now, this citizen, this one, Wafula is a national government citizen and Wanyonyi is a county. We all belong there. And any development taking place is development taking place in this county and in this country, because the total aggregate of the counties form Kenya. So it's just who is doing what. And the law is very clear on who should do what or who should perform what function.
When you head to Uasin next week, Governor, what are some of the pointers that as governors you'd want to put across and, if possible, you want to see implemented moving forward?
As we go to Uasin one, we will be showcasing the success stories, the achievements. Every county, we have stalls. Every county will be saying, okay, since devolution started, this is what we have done. We have done this number of ECDs. In agriculture, we have done this to ensure food security. In health, we have done this. In energy, we have done this, ABCD. These are the challenges that we have faced. This is what we think the national government should do. This is what we are asking the national government to see if it's still at the national government. We will also be thanking, that will be, okay, somebody said when we're in Senate that, you should not be thanking maybe what there's nothing to thank the government for doing what they're supposed to be doing. But it's good to appreciate. When you have been in that space, and I've been in that space where you go for 3 months without disbursements, then the workers are up in arms. They have not been paid for 3 months. It's not a very good experience. Or people have worked, you can't pay them. So we'll also be thanking the current government, the Kenya Kwanza government, for ensuring, and want them to keep it up, that the disbursements are timely. When the disbursements are timely, we are able to meet our obligation, just the way I've said that I have paid all the contractors because we had money to do that. If we didn't have the money, then it would be difficult for us to pay. So we will be saying these are our achievements, these are the challenges, and going forward, this is the way we want to go, this is the roadmap. So it will be a good audit. We'll be auditing devolution 10 years down the line. How have we performed? So that is basically what we'll be doing as we go towards the report.
On a span of 1 to 10, where are we in terms of devolution? A scale of 1 to 10.
We are at about 7.
The 3 is meant for the fixing of
fixing of the small things that we are still grappling with. Saying water is devolved. Why are we doing boreholes? Why can't you give the counties the money to do the boreholes? You see, those are the small things that we are now looking at and challenging the national government. But we are not fighting. Luckily we are having a president who listens, and for the first time. And that is the way to go, that anytime there has been a problem, the president has been available, and the deputy president, to listen to the governors. Because we are all in this, we are 48 governments, one nation. 48 governments, one nation. We are all for the betterment of the lives of our people. So when you have a president who listens, a president who comes to the county and listens to the governor talk about issues, listens to the senator and members of parliament, members of county assembly, it makes work easier than when you have a president who does not listen or who just talks at you and not listening to what you're saying.
All right. Governor, today is a very important day. Let me put it that. The 2 gentlemen, let me call them 2 big boys, that's how I refer to them, President William Ruto and Raila Odinga, both sides, Azimio and Kenya Kwanza, they're starting their talks today at Kenya Kwanza. As a politician, what's your view on that from your angle?
From my angle,
how should it go?
One is a tricky. One is that we must learn that in a democracy, when you go to an election, there will be a winner and there will be a loser.
Yes. And this is something that the country constitution wanted to cure. I mean, systems of governance.
Yeah. You know, when you go to an election, that's why there's always an acceptance and a losing. You have to have two speeches. One you are conceding, and another one you are accepting that you have won. But we cannot have a cycle where every time there is an election, issues come up. We must, I think, go beyond that.
Yeah.
Like in Bungoma, I beat my predecessor who beat me in when he beat me in 2017. I had issues, but I said, for the sake of the county going forward, I didn't want to raise it. I never went to court. In fact, my people told me don't accept, but I went and conceded and said, he has been pronounced as the winner. I will have another day to give it a go. Come 2022, I beat him he beat me by 20,000 voters. Well, I mean, voters. I beat him by 105,000 votes.
Now that's as a footballer, that's when you call, that's a serious comeback.
A serious comeback. So
that's a serious comeback.
Yes, so I accepted, and he also accepted. He came and handed over. So the discussions are okay. Let them go, and it's good. They will listen to the issues that the opposition is raising, because they try to say let it be handled in Parliament. They said no.
All right.
But they cannot also. You cannot go to a negotiation with clenched fists. You cannot
put everything open.
Put everything open.
All right.
Put genuine issues.
Okay.
Don't come up with, because you see the unfortunate bit is that the history of the person with the other side is that that has been a trend.
Yes.
That every time there is a loss, you have to raise issues and whatever. But I'm happy that now they are going to.
I'm told that we are running out of time, but we are running out of time because we are going to your former employer. We are going to Senate after this. All right, Governor, thank you so much for joining us. Do you miss that seat? Senate?
Of course, yeah. I went there. I was very nostalgic. I miss it,
That's where we're headed to right after this.
Right.
Thank you so much, Governor, for joining us. We've been talking to Governor Ken Lusaka of Bungoma County. He's just given us his blueprint, what he should expect. But the most important thing I've picked from there, that there's no pending bills in Bungoma County. Homa Bay, what are you doing? Okay. Thank you so much for joining us. Good morning. Goodbye-bye.